Hi, ask anybody who knows me. I'm passionate about teaching free motion quilting because I didn't have such a good experience when I learned. Hi, I'm Cathy and this is Sewing Tech Talk. So let's talk about free motion stitching. You may have had a similar experience to me. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't pleasant. It took me forever to learn how to do it. So I finally, through sheer perseverance and stubbornness, learned how to free motion quilt. And I learned how to free motion quilt on a domestic machine, not as big as this one, not as nice as this one, but I learned, and I want to share with you the secrets that I learned, that it makes it easier to learn to free motion quilt. So let's talk about free motion quilting and a couple things that we need to learn. But first, with this video, we have a giveaway. So if you go to the description, go to where you can comment, where you can like it, where you can share it, and why don't you subscribe while you're there? So if you like, comment, or share, each time you do, you're entered to win the giveaway. So that's a great, fun thing to do. You might be the lucky winner. While you're there, in the description, you can, after the video, I always have a handout for my videos. This one's probably about 4 pages, and it goes through everything I'm going to talk about. So go there. It's usually a blue link, and you take the link to the landing page, and there you can download the handout, print it out, whatever you want to do. It's there for you, and it's going to go through everything I'm going to talk about today, and usually a bit more. So let's get started. So now when you want a free motion quilt, there's a couple things that you need to accomplish. First and foremost, you're going to be moving the quilt sandwich. So you need to have an area that fits on the machine that gives you the ability to put your hands on either side of that quilt sandwich. So what I have here is I have a Sew Steady wish table. Now this wish table is a big area. You may not have that big of an area. You can get this in 4 different sizes, one that's going to fit you. But most importantly, you need to have an area where you can put your hands on either side of that needle. This is an awesome setup. This actually also has a tray, because it's the largest size, where I can keep all of my goodies easy for me to get to. This one also came with a glider, which is like a very slick surface that I use for free motion stitching. It's an option, but it really makes it easy for your quilt to move, and that's what it's going to be all about. So I have feet. Let me get my feet out. This machine comes with 3 different feet for free motion stitching. Now when you free motion stitch, you really need to have a special foot to do it. Now every machine's a little bit different. Most machines require a foot that has a little hopping action. This machine comes with that foot, and it hops up and down. It happens to be an open toe, and it's a great foot. Not my favorite foot for learning free motion on this machine. There's another foot, and it has a very low profile, meaning the needle goes through that very small hole. It really helps you to see where you're going. It's not a hopping foot, because this machine's superpower is it can free motion quilt exquisitely, and the needle just floats. It doesn't have to hop. Great foot, but it's not my favorite. My favorite on this machine, especially for learning to free motion quilt, is the Echo quilting foot. It's a clear foot, and why it's fantastic is you can sew with it as well as free motion quilt with it. You can sew with the feed dogs up, drop the feed dogs, and you can free motion with it. In a minute, you're going to see how important that is. So let's put this foot on the machine, and I have a couple other things to set yourself up for success. So this foot has a shank, and it needs an extension that happens to come with the machine. I've put that on the machine, and now I just attach this foot on to that extension. I tighten it up, Whenever you're free motion stitching and you put the foot on for that, you want to make sure you tighten it up because you don't want it to fall off when you're in the middle of free motion. So I tightened it up and I'll put all this aside. So we have our extension table, we've put our foot on, and we're going to get our quilt on there and we're going to start to move it around. So when we move it around, our hands are kind of smooth and we kind of need a little bit more traction to move that quilt around. And gloves give you that added traction when you're going to move the quilt around. Let's get our quilt on there. So make yourself some practice sandwiches. You got to have a quilt sandwich to practice with. And I put some contrasting thread in the machine so you can see what I'm stitching. So our gloves help us move it around, and you can see that having your hands on either side of that quilt really helps you move it. Now, why is it important that this foot allows me to sew as well as free motion quilt? The feed dogs are still up. I haven't lowered them. You're going to need to lower them when you free motion, but the first and most important thing is we have to know how fast that when we're moving the quilt, we need to know how fast we need to move it. So let's ask the machine how fast that is. So on this machine, I have a speed control right up here, and I can make it slow, stitch slow, that's its top speed, or I can have it go the full 1050 stitches a minute. That might be a little fast for me to free motion quilt. So here's what I do. I find a speed, depending on how fast you like to free motion, or you're going to like to free motion, you can pick anything generally kind of right in the middle. So I've chosen a speed that I think is going to work. I'm going to lower the foot, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to depress my foot pedal all the way. That means when I stitch, it's always going to be at a consistent speed. And because the feed dogs are up, the machine's going to show me how fast it moves the fabric to get those consistent stitches. My job is to watch that and see if I can imitate it when I drop the feed dogs. Let's see what that looks like. So that's how fast the machine's moving it. I'm going to make it go again, and I'm going to see if I can figure out how fast that is. So when I move the quilt, I have to move about that fast. Now if that's too slow for you, not a problem. You can increase the speed just a little bit. And let's see if that's a little bit more to our taste. That's good. I think I like that. If it's too fast for you, no worries. You make it the speed that you like it. The trick is you're going to kind of want to remember where that is. So kind of get a visual. Maybe that's what the cell phone camera's for. You could take a picture of exactly where that is. So figure out where you want it to be. Now my job is to lower the feed dogs and figure out if I can move the quilt at that same speed to get perfect even stitches. Let's see if I can do it. I dropped the feed dogs. Now it's my turn. Hey, that's not too bad. So I have practiced a long time to kind of know what speed I need to move it. You may be a little herky-jerky at first. That's okay. That's what practice is for. Now, there's a secret to being able to know how fast you're moving that quilt. And the secret is, when you move the quilt, you don't want to twist your hands. Let me explain why. When I move the quilt with my hands held evenly and not twisting, the quilt sandwich is going to move at the same speed that my hands are moving. Now, I've been living for a long time. I know with my eyes closed how fast my hands are going. And if I practice and I get that speed fairly consistent, I can pretty much do it without always adjusting the quilt depending on where I'm moving it. So let me show you both ways. First of all, I'm going to show you moving the quilt without twisting. easy because I know how fast my hands are going and I know how fast that speed needs to be because the machine's already showed me. Now I'm going to show you the wrong way, meaning I'm going to be moving the quilt, twisting around. That's the way we have to move the quilt when the feed dogs are up, but they're not up anymore. We don't have to move it that way. What happens is when I'm moving it like this, I have to use my eyes as a visual clue as to how fast the quilt is moving. I can't calculate it that fast. My brain doesn't connect up to my foot that fast. So I can't judge how fast the quilt's going. Look and see. I'm moving all kinds of crazy ways, pretty much at the same speed, but the quilt isn't moving consistently with the way I'm moving my hands. That's the trick. That's the secret of free motion quilting revealed. Don't twist when you move the quilt sandwich, and you'll be able to learn faster. Well, don't give up. Continue watching. Let's talk about some more stuff. When you're going to learn how to free motion quilt, the secret is, yes, you do need to practice some. It's not easy to get that movement consistent. It's kind of like Tai Chi. You just need to practice moving at that right speed. As you get better, you can pick up your speed, but if you're not twisting and you're moving at that same speed, you can kind of get it, but it does need some practice. So if you have a machine that you can set up and leave up, make yourself some quilt sandwiches. Get them ready to go. Because if you're able to sit down and practice for maybe 5 or 10 minutes every day, maybe for a month, it's not a big practice sessions. It's lots of little ones. So if you can set up your machine, get everything ready so that you don't have to look for the quilt sandwich and look for your thread. Everything's ready to go. If you're able to sit down, don't tell me you don't have like 5 or 10 minutes a day to sit down, practice moving it, do some fun shapes. Eventually, you're going to want to move on to doing a real quilt. It doesn't have to be your masterpiece quilt. Practice on quilt sandwiches, then make a quilt that maybe you're going to donate to charity. Do a good job on it. Maybe you're going to give it to a relative. But if it's a precious object to you, you will be kind of stymied in being able to practice. Now, what's a good design that you can use when you're practicing to get some quilt free motion mojo? Let's try and do a series of loop-de-loops. It's an easy pattern. You can practice not twisting, and it's good for men, women, boys and girls, children of all ages. Let's do some loop-de-loops. Oops, I messed up and one of my loopsy-loops didn't loop-de-loop. It's okay. No one's going to get in there with a magnifying glass and see that you missed a loop-de-loop. Let it go. Have fun. If you have fun, you're going to learn a whole lot faster. Now, once you get the loop-de-loops down, move on to some other shapes. Pretend you're handwriting. You have all kinds of different shapes when you're handwriting that you can translate to doing into machine quilting. What about a stipple? Stipple, not as easy necessarily as doing some basic shapes. There's a couple things to remember when you're going to do a stipple. First of all, it needs to be kind of random, kind of like your loop-de-loops are, and it needs to be a fairly consistent size to look really, really pretty. So let's do a stipple and notice that maybe you can envision something. Maybe it's a meandering river. Maybe it's the branches of a tree. Maybe it's the clouds in the sky. Envision something and see if you can go all kinds of different directions that are totally random. Let's see what a stipple looks like. Now that's kind of a biggish stipple. The speed I was going, I felt like I needed to do that. If I wanted to do a little teeny tiny one, remember, I can slow down my machine by adjusting that speed lever. Let's make it slower. Now, I don't know how fast the machine has, I have to move the quilt to match that. Bring your feed dogs up and have the machine show you. Feed dogs are up, press down the foot pedal. That's how fast I have to move. The machine just showed me. I'm going to lower the feed dogs now, and I'm going to try to do a smaller stipple, but slow, just like the machine showed me. Now that's the speed I think I can do some really elegant, fine quilting. Now if I want to do some quilting and I want to do a straight part of it, I say I've come to the edge and I want to sew straight. That's why this foot is so magic. I can lift the feed dogs, and remember, I can sew with it with the feed dogs up. The machine's going to move the quilt, and I don't have to worry about hung a certain way to make sure it's straight. Raise the feed dogs are up, press down the foot pedal. I got a straight line, and I'm just guiding it the traditional way that I would sew. If I'm going to do a whole bunch of straight lines on this quilt, this machine comes with a really pretty cool accessory. This machine comes with what's called a digital dual feed. And this digital dual feed has a belt on the bottom that pulls the fabric through on the top layer just as nicely as it does on the bottom. I would switch over from my free motion foot to my digital dual feed, and I can do a whole bunch of straight lines. And I can have the best of both worlds. I can free motion beautifully on this machine. If I want to do a grid also, I can have my digital dual feed and do that. If I want to do both, hey, your creativity is your limit. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing a little bit about free motion quilting. Seriously, it's actually pretty easy to learn if you just put in a little bit of practice time every day. Relax. It's okay. It's not nuclear science. It's not brain surgery. It's just something to have fun with. And if you have fun, I think you're going to learn a whole bunch really fast. So that's pretty much everything I have to say. I think I'm going to switch it over to George and see what he has to say. And I guess I'm a poet and I didn't even know it.
Thanks, Cathy. That was an incredible presentation. Don't forget, you can click on the link and download Cathy's lesson guide on today's presentation. But I want to take a couple moments to share with you my favorite features on the Baby Lock Altair. I believe the Altair is dollar for dollar the most advanced machine on the market. There are machines that sell for thousands of dollars more that do not offer the same features. You know, the embroidery features are incredible. The 9.5 inch by 14 inch embroidery area, you can really expand your horizon with embroidery, and there's 494 built-in designs. You also have that 10.1 inch color screen that gives you all kinds of editing capability, from color to sizing to also you can actually take designs and do automatic stippling around it. It has 30 built-in fonts and 5 jumbo monograms. Now with the fonts, you have all kinds of editing capability. You can even take and put in a name or a saying and then do an applique border and turn it into applique automatically. It also has the IQ Designer. Now, this is an app that you use your smart device like a phone or an iPad, and you can send an image, a graphic image, to the machine, and it will turn it into embroidery instantly. The embroidery is amazing, but what about the sewing and quilting? This machine has 11.25 inches of space and 5 inches of height, so you can fit even the largest quilts into this machine. It also has automatic fabric sensors that will sense the thickness of the fabric, so it will set the right pressure, and with the automatic tension, it gives you perfect fabric control, from heavy denim to very sheer fabric to working with elastic or even a t-shirt collar. This machine truly controls the fabric with perfection. But also it has the digital dual feed, and what that does is that is a belt-driven walking foot system that's controlled by the motor of the machine, and you can control even like here with this Minky perfectly. So you have so many amazing features with this machine. But what about an amazing deal? The MSRP, the manufacturer's suggested list price of this machine, is $10,999. And it's worth that for all the amazing things that it does. We right now have it on sale for $79.99. And we're offering free shipping across the United States. Plus we have interest-free payments of $167 per month. That makes this machine very affordable. But wait, that's not all. For a limited time, and while we have it in stock, we are offering a special bonus with your Altair purchase. So first, we're going to give this beautiful set of 63 spools of polyester embroidery thread. The beautiful shine and quality of this thread is quite amazing. Also, I'm including the Baby Lock Ultimate Stabilizer Bundle. This has the most popular rolls of stabilizer, from wash away to cut away in different colors, and this will enhance your embroidery to give you a better quality. I'm also including the Baby Lock Altair Inspirational Guide. Now, the instructions on this machine is wonderful, but what's different about the Inspirational Guide, it is written by Baby Lock educators, assuming you know nothing about the machine. So it takes you through every aspect, giving you full color. It's over 300 pages of full color description, step-by-step description. And if you complete this Inspirational Guide, you truly know everything on this machine. We're including that. Plus, we're going to include an online membership to Baby Lock's Love of Knowledge. This has hundreds of videos that give you step-by-step details on how to use the machine and also do techniques. This is invaluable, and you get a membership to this as well. You also get our famous rose gold scissors. These scissors are wonderful, both the shears and the embroidery shears. But last and not least, we put together a very exclusive design bundle by Anita Good Design. It has 17 different collections, and it comes with over 400 design files, and it's truly amazing the variety you get with this. So all this, which equals over a $1,600 value, is free with your Altair purchase for a limited time. Now, we will run out of these supplies, so this is while supplies last. So click on the link to order, or you can call us at 1-800-865-9664. You can email me at moreso@aol.com. But don't wait, this deal will surely end. But if you have any questions, again, call us at 1-800-865-9664. Bye for now.